Hey everyone, this is Roosta, and over the past few weeks, we've had a new development in the strategy we use for Ahriman, which makes it safer, faster, and more reliable. So I wanted to make a little tutorial video to show you how it works, what we're doing, and the key to the new strategy is that we're using Mist. We're using Belias on Bosch, and we're taking advantage of a special effect we saw from watching a Japanese runner named Taki Time. So in order to do this strategy, you're going to want to have Belias on Bosch. This may mean you need to cut Protect. Bosch should almost always have enough LP for Belias after all of the Still Shrine and Bergen fights. So make sure you get Belias at some point, and then also, since you just killed the Mandes, make sure you have Channeling a War Mage on both girls. And let's get ready to set up the fight. Now the idea behind the new strategy is that we're going to take advantage of an effect that was programmed into the game, which is while a mist ability, such as a Quickening or an Esper, is charging up, you are not able to move. You and the opponent are not able to move, and you're not able to activate any effects, and the ATB bars will not charge. However, any effects, any abilities already charging will continue. So let's move up here in the hallway. This point in the hallway is nice because you're guaranteed to be safe, and the enemies will always leave you behind. So now let's bring in Balthier and Ashe. Ashe is going to decoy, and Balthier is going to protect. And let's remove the staves from the girls and Bosch's armor. I'm going to put on weight just so I can move a little bit more slowly. So Balthier is going to protect Bosch. Ashe is going to decoy Bosch, and it may be also a good idea to heal Bosch if he's low. Take everyone out of the party, and then optimize the girls. You may notice that this puts the Glacial Staff on as opposed to the Flame Staff, and that's because the Flame Staff has one less magic. So with nothing equipped, the Glacial Staff is favored. Despite that, we're still going to be using Fyra, and I'll explain why that is shortly. So the idea here is we're going to be trying to manipulate Ahriman's HP. He splits into his second phase. He splits into another clone below 60 HP. So we're going to try and get him to just above 60% HP, and then we're going to do as much damage as we can right then to try and skip that second phase. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to do it by hitting with 6 Fyras from both girls with Glacial Staves equipped. So let's move forward. He's casting Toxify. Now, if he's casting Phantasmal Gaze, you have to watch out. I would recommend waiting for the animation to start before bringing in the girls. If this is just to protect them from getting confused, in which case you would need to Smelling Salt them and ATB reset them to make sure that they're synced up. So what we're going to do is bring in both girls and turn their gambits on. Now, fire with Glacial Staves. Now, once these fires start flashing down here, that means that they're about to activate, and it's safe to summon Belias. Now, the idea here is that we're going to summon Belias after Fyra starts, and that means that both Fyras will fully cast before anything else can happen. So Ahriman can't move, Ahriman can't teleport, he can't do anything. He can't activate any new moves, and he's just going to be stuck there. So let's see that in action. 1, 4, 6. So he's been hit 3 times by both girls, and nothing else can happen during this phase. However, we don't actually want to summon Belias, so I'm going to go ahead and attack. You could also steal if you wanted, or you could leave his gambit on and reset him. But attack is the safest because attack doesn't stay in the queue too long. So let's go ahead and attack. Now both Fyras have charged again. We just did a little bit less than 20% of his HP, so let's do the same thing again. Notice he's completely frozen. So now we've done a little bit less than 20% of his HP twice, so he should be just over 60%. Now we're ready to actually go in and do as much damage as possible. So one more time, let's reset Bosch, and let's give the girls their Flame Staves back. Now that we've manipulated his threshold, we're going to do as much damage as fast as we can. Now, one really cool thing about what's happening right now is that Ahriman at 60% HP gains damage resist. However, he can't gain the damage resist because of this Esper freezing, because of this Mist freezing. And so, one more time, let's summon Belias. 1, 4, 6. Alright, now we've done as much damage as we can, but while forcing him to stand still and stopping him from teleporting. So we pushed him from just above 60% to below 40%, and so we've skipped the entire second phase. Now that we've done this, we can go ahead and take Bosch's armor off. We need to refresh his decoy and heal him if he's low. So, refresh decoy, heal, and go ahead and run towards this chest. Stop to let the girls catch up. And now you're going to want to take everyone out of the party and bring in our sacrificial lamb, Balthier. You could use any of these three. However, Fran needs LP for later on, and Vaughn can save you in the coming hallway after Ahriman. So Vaughn is the weak, or Balthier is the weakest, and he's the best as a sacrifice. So go ahead and move over here, grab this chest, and go ahead and run back towards the center. He's going to die pretty quickly. One attack will be enough. Yep. So go ahead and bring Balthier back in. Put his armor back on so he is able to live. And now just wait in the center for all 4 copies, or for the 3 copies and the real Ahriman to all come back. 2, 3, 4. Okay, all 4 are back. And now we're going to want to determine which is the real one. You can do this by just looking for the shimmer, or you can cast Protect on him earlier with Bosch if you want. I think it's pretty easy to see the shimmer with a good amount of practice. So this guy has no special shimmer. This guy is still teleporting, so it's hard to tell. However, I see that the one closest to camera right now has the characteristic shimmer, so I know that this is Ahriman, and the others are clones. So now the way I like to do this is I like to put the girls near Balthier, or near Ahriman, because I'm trying to do as much damage to him as possible. And the idea here is we're going to try and get him to just above 20% HP. Now, we want to do this. In order to do this, we have to know where 20% is. And I have a visual aid for this, which is if you put the cursor over attack, you'll notice this W, the left side, is right below 20%. So you do not want to go below the left edge of the W. Now this W is nice because the right side is, the width of the W is larger than the amount of damage you can do with a single Fyra. So if you get him to just above the right edge of the W, you can hit him with one more Fyra, and then you'll be just above 20%. Now I say here use staggered reflects. If your reflects are not staggered, they'll hit in sync, and you can move entirely over the W and accidentally trigger his splitting into 8 copies. So I'm going to go ahead and make a save state here, because this is sort of the first part where things can get hairy. So make a save state. I like to put the whole party near the real Ahriman. So I run over here. Actually notice, okay, put the girls here. The gamuts are still on. And we don't need to freeze anyone here. You can if you want. But you actually want to have one of the girls manually kill all of the Ahriman clones. So let's actually go back. You could manually hit the real Ahriman. However, as you can see from the circle, that might not kill all the clones. This one looks like it's going to be the best for killing all the clones. So this is the one I'm going to hit. And I'm going to leave Penelo reflecting. And that way she'll reflect on the whole party. And it looks like, since all 3 are pretty close to the real one, these reflects should all hit the real one. So I'm going to try and kill the clones while also keeping track of where Ahriman's HP is. Let's see what happens. Looks like a lot of damage is coming in. Got some teleports happening. Our damage is still good. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like 2 clones have survived. So, and his HP is maybe 1 more Fyra away. So I'm actually going to turn off one of their gambits and have the other one do a manual Fyra to try and kill the other clones. Oh, this is not great. Penelo is still going, so he's right at the right amount of HP. So instead of doing this, I'm going to have Ash manually hit this one, Penelo manually hit this one, and reset Penelo because she's still going to try and hit the real Ahriman. You really don't want to hit him past this threshold. So you see he's in the right place, to the left of the right side of the W, to the right of the left side, right in the middle there. So I'm going to let these two clones go down. Looks like they're good, and now I'm going to reset them one more time, because they would hit the real Ahriman now. This phase is sort of where you have to be ready to improvise the most, because they can move around, they can teleport, and you want to try and manipulate HP while killing clones. It can get weird. So once you've done this, once you've killed all the clones and you've manipulated his HP to where you want it to be, now you're ready to go in and complete this part of the phase. So what you want to do this is you want to have synchronized fire res. Kill Bosch to make sure he's good. Now, synchronized fire res just like before, and you're going to want to summon. Now it's really, really, really important that you get the summon in the queue right after the fire res charge, because if he gets hit and you're not ready to summon, he might teleport. So really quickly, I'm going to reset Bosch. The high potion being in the queue would ruin things. Now let's see what happens. The girls are both casting, clones are dead, and now let's see. He's stuck in place, so he can't do anything. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. This is the whole point of the manipulation, is trying to get him as close to dead as possible before he can split into 8 clones. Into 7 more clones as well as himself. So now, that is the second phase. Kill all the clones manually, use stagger reflects so that they don't hit at the same time, reset both girls before he hits 20%, which you saw I had to do twice there, and 20% is to the left of this W. So that is the second phase. Now the last phase, kill, is very, very simple, and 2 things can happen. So what you can do here is before resetting this Belias, you're going to want to manually target Ahriman with both girls. Boom. So even though nothing has changed, he has still been targeted for their next spell, right? Make sure here, if the girls are short in MP, you're going to want to try and get them an ether before this. They really need to have enough MP for these 2 spells. It should only be 16 LPI or MP, I believe. Yeah. So get them both queued up, and then you're going to want to reset Bosch with an attack. He's going to teleport away. Now here's where 2 things can happen. He can either teleport close by, in which point you can kill him quickly. So let's make a save state so we can see both. So 2 things can happen. You can teleport nearby, and then you can chase him down and try and kill him. Right? Now you see the power of this strat. If he teleports nearby, boom, run up, kill him, it's over. The whole killing all 8 clones is now reduced to just running up and killing him. However, this could also not work out, so let's see what happens when it doesn't work out. Bring out the Gambit to stop them from running. Oh no, they can't make it to him. So what you want to do is now put the battle speed down to low. If you want, you could throw down a float moat, because you need one for the next part. So that can also happen. If that happens, things are now going to get weird, because he was teleporting when you tried to damage him. So this is the one thing that can be a little bit scary about this fight, but it shouldn't happen too often. So, and it probably happened because I was trying to stop the girls from running up to him. So let's see what happens instead. There you go. That's the other main possibility. You either run up and kill him easily, or you wait for him to come back to you and then just kill him. Both girls are targeting, so they wait until they can actually hit him to kill him. And that's really all there is to the final phase. Chase after him if you can. If he's too far, turn this battlefield down and wait for him to come back to you, and he should go down. And that's really all there is to it. The hard part of this fight now is manipulating this damage and getting him to be just above 20% while killing the clones, not tripping over that boundary. If things get weird, you might need to revert to old strategies. So if the manipulation fails, let's sort of see what I mean. Like, oh, let's move over here. We're not going to stagger the reflex. Hit him with manual. Watching for the W. So here the reflected fires are not staggered. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll hit him with one more. Oh, oops. Now he teleported and the strategy is ruined. So this when I say revert to old strategies, I mean reflect decoy, remove armor. And then put the armor back on. And then bring in Vaughn as a sacrifice. Like you would have normally. Now, however, there's one other possibility you can do, which is leave everything the way it was just then. Turn your battle speed down. Turn off the gambits. Now you need this decoy in order for this to work. And the real Ahriman is always the second one to arrive. So, you see he's right there. Fyra, real one. By turning the battle speed slow, you should be able to stop the girls from taking any damage from other copies, and then you can just kill him. However, that's only if the damage manipulation works. Otherwise, you have to do the normal type of strategies, where you try and get close to the real one and reflect him. However, you can see that because his HP wasn't manipulated, I wasn't able to kill him, and the girls died. But yeah, the whole idea is manipulate 60%, do as much damage as possible. Manipulate 20%, do as much damage as possible, and then just run up and kill him. When you get this to happen in a real run, it's probably one of the most satisfying things that could ever happen to you, especially given how painful the final phase with 8 splits can be. But yeah, that's basically all there is to it. We're still learning a lot about this fight. So for example, that first attempt where I ran away from him and then he came back and the fires landed without doing any damage, that was actually the first time I've seen that specific outcome happen. So I don't know why, but for the most part, this should be pretty safe. I can show you really quick what I meant earlier. So let's say you have to re-decoy. Re-decoy when he's low. Battle speed down, armor back on. The real Ahriman is always the second to return. First. Second. So what I'm actually going to do here is that's going to be the real Ahriman, so I'm going to use a fire on him, on his friend, because then the ATB will start charging, and it will hit him. There you go. That's all there is to it. If you can get him to below that second, the W in weapons, get him to below the right side above the left side, then he'll always be within 2 fires of death, and you can kill him easily. One other possibility here is you could actually, let me see. Let's do this one more time. Well above the W. Looks like... Oops. It's teleporting, so I'm just going to reset the girls. Keep Bosch alive. Watch out for the damage. Teleporting again. Pretty classic Ahriman. Alright, like I said, if one of them gets low, you're going to want to ether. Okay, perfect. Reset the girls. Now, something else you can do here is give them glacial staves, because you'll do a little bit more damage, and then do... Get your jackboots on if he immobilizes. Now give yourself reflected Blizzaras. Freeze him. See, you did even more damage this time. Manually Target your Blizzards. Attack. And now just wait. Now, this is one of the problems with using Blizzara, is Penelo actually used that Blizzara even though it didn't do damage because of the animation time, but no problem. So yeah, that's the new Ahriman strat. Good luck, and if you have any questions, post them here, and I'll hopefully get back to you pretty quickly. And yeah, have fun.